Environmental factors and drought. One of the leading factors contributing to the fall of the Mayan civilization was a series of prolonged droughts. The Mayans relied heavily on agriculture, particularly maize, which was vulnerable to water shortages. These droughts, coupled with changing climate conditions, likely weakened their ability to sustain large populations and led to crop failures. Deforestation and soil degradation. The Mayans practiced extensive agriculture, which involved clearing forests for fields. Over time, this deforestation led to soil erosion and degradation, reducing the land's fertility. This environmental strain made it increasingly difficult to grow enough food to support their cities, exacerbating the effects of drought. Political instability and warfare. The Mayan civilization was not a unified empire but a collection of city-states, many of which engaged in constant warfare. As resources dwindled, rivalries between cities grew more intense. Political instability and internal conflicts weakened the power of these city-states, making them more vulnerable to collapse. Economic decline. As agricultural productivity decreased due to environmental factors, the Mayans faced economic hardships. Trade, which had been a vital part of their economy, also suffered as routes became less secure due to warfare. Without a stable economy, cities became less able to support their growing populations, leading to the decline of urban centers. Social strain and population pressure. The collapse of the Mayan civilization was also driven by social pressures. As the population increased, the resources available to sustain them diminished. The growing gap between the elite and the common people may have contributed to social unrest, further weakening the cohesion of Mayan society. Collapse of the Classic Period. The collapse of the Mayan civilization is often associated with the end of the Classic Period around 900 AD. During this time, many major cities in the southern lowlands were abandoned, and the central power structures broke down. This sudden decline is thought to have been a combination of environmental stress, warfare, and economic disruption. Invasion and external threats. Though less prominent, some scholars argue that external threats, such as invasions by neighboring tribes, could have played a role in the fall of the Mayan civilization. However, evidence of large-scale invasions is limited, and the primary causes seem to be internal factors, including environmental collapse and warfare. Shift in trade networks. The Mayans were part of a larger Mesoamerican trade network that provided access to vital resources like jade, obsidian, and salt. As the climate worsened and political instability increased, trade routes were disrupted. This loss of access to important goods further contributed to the economic decline of Mayan cities. Religious and cultural shifts. Mayan society was heavily influenced by religious beliefs, and some researchers suggest that changes in these beliefs, or a loss of confidence in religious leadership, may have played a role in the collapse. As environmental and political pressures mounted, the Mayan elites might have struggled to maintain their authority and spiritual influence. Long-term decline of the southern lowlands. While the southern lowlands saw a dramatic collapse around 900 AD, the northern cities like Chichen Itza continued to thrive for a while. However, these cities eventually also faced similar pressures, and the decline of the Mayan civilization was ultimately a gradual process rather than a single event. The civilization's fragmentation left behind a legacy that persisted for centuries in the form of their architecture and knowledge.